we're back throwing some imaginary chairs at Papo and Yo by Minority Media. This is an Unreal 3 engine that, shock of all shocks, doesn't take forever to load. So £14.99 what stinky cashes or £10.99. I don't know what the sub or euros. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what a sub euro is. So I'm just gonna call them sub euros and leave them at that. So according to this blurb I have in front of me, as Quico, players will build their friendship with Monster by solving puzzles and adventuring through a magical, surrealist world. Players will need to use Monster's emotions, both good and bad, to their advantage if they want to complete their search for a cure and save their pal from getting hit by cars.
Man, that is definitely bitch you about to get raped right there.
I know. You should see what he actually does with that horn. It's very, very interesting. Kurt, you can pick this up as part of the Humble Indie Bundle as well. You can't renew it on Steam, though, because the Steam version does not have a Linux depot. But the DRM-free version works, and that's what we're going to be reviewing off of.
It's
so,
not
time
exactly
to cue our chair
DRM-free.
explanation. We got 4 whack-ass categories based on this 4-chair metric of ours. We got nope for 1 chair. It means it's shit. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. And 4 chairs means that it's orgasmically awesome. We also have our categories of doom. Mixed with the working. Well, does it work well? Shiny and sounds is for the auditory and visual elements of the game. Controls is self-explanatory. And our final subjective category is fun. So then, did Papo and Yo make with the working?
Papo and Yo, definitely made with the working. It ran out of the box with everything on 11. Take that shot on a Ubuntu. Vanilla base level test system, 1204 32-bit, 770 powered with the latest beta drivers. Some interesting things that also made with the working. If you have Steam open while you're playing the DRM-free version, it keeps track of your saves and unlocks your achievements. So I'm guessing this is eventually going to show up.
I didn't have Steam running while I was playing this.
Right. So
I thought it kind of kept it in a file, but
that's kind of how you rock and roll with that, because even with the DRM-free version, you'll see like your Steam achievements pop up in your lower right.
Yep, it has the libsteam library in the game.
We were talking about that in Chat Realm Static over the week, and also mixed with the working. The shaders, Unreal 3, you're thinking, wait, it's Unreal 3! You must have to compile the shaders in Middle Earth and bring them back by, like, real-time travel, you know, no fast travel. Nope, not the case. This one, boom, everything works. It's kind of beautiful, made with the working, so, boom, check that business out. 4 mothering chairs. J-Man!
well, aside from one small issue with not being able to disable frame smoothing, because I was playing this on my Steam box with it, which is an A10 60 800K. Is it 6800 or 5800? I can never remember. Anyways, it's one of those crazy whacked out APUs. It runs out of the box. I didn't crank everything to 11 because frame smoothing kind of screws that up, but that's not enough. Issues with AMD doesn't really mean you got to ding at a chair. So for that, I'll give it 4 chairs.
P-Man.
Yeah, very similarly to Jordan, frame smoothing. We'll get to that later, but it was the first Unreal Engine 3 game that actually ran out of the box with the open source drivers since Dungeon Defenders. 4 chairs for me.
We all love Dungeon Defenders. I mean, that's the bee's knees.
Yep.
DRM, the game. So that'll be 4 chairs from Mix with the Working. Coming up is Shiny and Sounds Ven, where your eye pussies captivated and your
The
ear
eye
pussies
pussies
make gentle
and the
love.
ear pussies. Oh, they were the things, definitely. Sounds, alright, they work for what they are. Nothing special. Nothing's going to blow your mind on that. Really takes advantage, unlike a game we mentioned last week, Deadfall Adventures, of the aging Unreal 3 engine.
Yep.
It's like, okay, I understand what this game engine is capable of doing, and let's make it do that. So you don't have, like, this like forced thing going on. I mean, it looks beautiful for what it is, and really got to knock it for the shiny, not the sounds, but the shiny, because the protagonist, Kiko,
Not
what a the kid,
Kiko.
right? His character model seems like it's like a total of 6 polygons or something like that. I was like, if I'm staring at this dude this entire time, nice touch, missing the shoe and all that, but apparently he, gets real strippy later on in the game.
He gets progressively more naked.
But his character model seemed like it was extremely low res compared to the rest of the game, so I'm going to ding it 1 chair just for that, and I'm just being picky, but definitely 3 chairs on that business.
Yeah, like Ven said, this game looks great despite it being made with the very, very almost antiquated Unreal 3 engine. So it goes to show you that you can have good anything, really. I mean, you have the bad, like Deadfall Adventures and Painkiller Hell and Damnation, and then on the flip side, you have something like this. The soundtrack doesn't really, really. The soundtrack leaves a little to be desired, and the character model does look a bit weird once they give him a lot of close-ups too, which really doesn't help. Because you get right in his face, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's my suspension of disbelief." But other than that, the environments are actually gorgeous. I love them. I'm gonna give this 3 chairs.
I mean, this game really made me feel like I was poor.
Yeah. So ignoring the undertones of the comments that were made, give me an option to disable the fucking frame smoothing. That shit doesn't work. At least it didn't on my end, and it didn't on Jordan's end. So,
yep.
If you're passing, if you're selling if you're selling an Unreal Engine 3 game under Linux, either disable frame smoothing by default, or at least give me a fucking option to disable it. Because as it currently stands, I can't. It's just unbearable. 3 chairs.
Alright, well that's 3 chairs in Shiny and Sounds, and for an Unreal 3 game, that seems oddly appropriate. Get it? Get it? Coming up next, Control. Ven, were you in control of a starving African child?
You mean one that has daddy issues? Little ones. Well, hands down, it worked perfectly with the X-Clone controller because I refused to give Microsoft any money directly. Here's the nice. I mean, the game X-Clone worked out of the box. Really impressed with that. Not so much now as I was in Genesis when things just started working with it.
It rumbles. What the hell?
Out of the box, but gamepad also flipped the hell out on a few occasions, which just required a bit of button mashing, and it sorted itself. Keyboard plus wireless gerbil. No issues with that interface, but I really felt that this is something you want to play with a controller, because it's a sit-back game. It's not a first-person shooter in that business, so no issues with it outside of the random flip-outs on the controller. 3 chairs.
3 chairs.
3 chairs.
You know what? I didn't really have any issues with the controller flipping out. I actually played the entire thing with the controller. I didn't even try it with the keyboard and mouse just because it's a platformer, and platformers almost universally require controllers. The one real gripe I had with the controls is if you let go of like the grab button for a second while you're in the middle of maneuvering something, you're done. You got to start that again, and that got pretty annoying. It's just like that puzzle where you have to stack all the buildings on top of each other, and then sort of redirect them so you can get to the other parts of the level. Yeah, that one was particularly annoying because of that. But no real issues other than that. 3 chairs. It's a good score. Solid score.
Yep.
Seems legit.
And really, personally, the only gripe I had was that I can't disable mouse smoothing. It's frame smoothing and mouse smoothing. Those things don't work under Linux. So, give me an option to disable them, please, already. So yeah, 3 chairs for me, because besides that, it worked just fine.
All right, well, that's 3 cheers for Control.
Doing
That's
good.
pretty decent. Yeah.
Bonus.
Yep.
Bonus soda. Finally, our last subjective category. Fun. Ven, did you enjoy yourself?
What's that? What's that
Did
note
you
trade? Do I hear the note
enjoy
trade coming?
yourself?
Oh yeah. Cheer, cheer, motherfucker. Here comes the note trade. Because checkpoints can eat a big, wet, hairy bag. Seriously, they can. Let me save the fuck mothering game. For fuck's sake. Fuck. Seriously. Checkpoints. Slam me so many times because, sometimes it's like a 3-part puzzle to do this. You gotta
Yep.
get monster. You gotta do this, get monster over here, do this, then you get to the next checkpoint. Sometimes I gotta go do other shit, and I don't want to leave the game running constantly. So there's no, out. You're like, oh, yeah, you were almost right. That last part of the puzzle you could start the fuck over again. Fuck you. That's why. So that really broke the fun aspect for me. But I won't give it 1 chair. I'll give it an extra chair because, as I said, if you do have Steam running while you have the DRM free version running, it's keeping track of your save games on Steam, your time played, and your achievements. So I can't give it 1 chair, but I will give it a big fat meh chair with a double deuce.
The double deuce. I thought this game was actually really nice. This is a fun puzzle platformer. With
No, I enjoyed
really
it.
nice, with really nice backgrounds and a really cool premise. I find it very relaxing. I didn't really have the issue with the checkpoints because I found that I could get through the puzzles relatively quickly.
Mr. Smarty Pants.
Yeah. But no, it's you get a checkpoint after every puzzle. That seems fair. Saving in the middle of puzzles kind of, I get why they didn't do that, so I don't really see too much of an issue with it. This is a really fun game. It's by no means a perfect game. The pacing can be a bit weird sometimes, and your character gets progressively more naked, which makes me fear for my life as Chris Hansen knocks down my door. So I'll give that 3 chairs in the fun department.
Hey, Jordan.
What was that?
Why don't you have a seat over there?
On one of these lawn chairs. Pedro.
Okay, so this game had the 6-year-old in me prancing like a little girl with joy, which wasn't that
right?
far of a stretch, so yeah. But yeah, it was pretty fun. Like Jordan said, it's a very, very fun platformer. I actually hadn't had this much fun with since Portal. I think Portal was the last one. Yeah, good on them. And it pulls at the heartstrings when you start to realize what the story behind the game is. Sort of pulls at your heartstrings, and as a previously paid game critic, that resonates well with me, and kudos again on them for that.
Hey, Pedro, didn't you
Yeah.
used to review games professionally?
Yes, I did. A few years ago.
Are you trying to kill another company?
Yeah, so the magazine went out of print. They ran out of money.
Pedro, how many chairs?
Yeah, but much
Hang on.
like Ven, I'm forced to duck in a chair because of the inability to save whenever I want. And Jordan, to give you an example of saving in between puzzles, Portal. 3 chairs for me.
All right, well, that's 2 chairs for the fun category. I would say that's 2 chairs with an asterisk because Ven's a bit whatever. So, our final score, combining makes with the working, shiny and sounds, controls, and fun, comes to 3 chairs for Papo and Yo, which means definitely check this out. Buy this game. It's good fun.
I enjoyed it.
I think you will enjoy it.
Final thoughts, like I said initially, it looks beautiful. I mean, it did a fantastic job of just the environment, moving, giant buildings around. I was like, that's neat.
I know.
Yep.
I'm down with that. And that's the strength of the Unreal 3 engine, moving all that business around. And of course, everything's brown. but
And it makes
Realism.
sense given the setting.
it's like one of those situations. You're like, all right, I get it. And then monsters not clearly explained to you at first. And it's like, all right, oh, he's my friend, so I shouldn't run from him.
He is your father. That's not true. That's impossible.
What does he want to do with that horn? Final thoughts, J-Man.
Buy this freaking game. It's good fun. It's a gorgeous game, and the makers deserve
Indie
your
game
money.
too, right?
It is an indie game. The makers of this game deserve your money. You should definitely go buy it. It's on the Humble Bundle for the next week or so you can pick that up for basically anything you want. And if you're watching this after the fact, go buy it anyways. It's what, like $10?
Yeah.
$15?
P-Man?
Yeah, it's $15 right now on Steam, and it is a good game. Like I said, since Portal, there hasn't been any platformers that have captivated me in both the story and the gameplay itself. And this game, it's again one of those good games because it gives you the story through gameplay.
It's like
Granted,
3D mist on food stamps.
Kinda. It has some cutscenes, but most of the story is given to you through gameplay, and that to me is awesome. Seriously, get the game.